Hey guys, welcome back to Wheelin' with Wally. I leave in the morning for my trip to Colorado and Utah for my big overlanding adventure that I am calling a Western Expedition. Stay tuned for those videos down the road, and if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. But for this video, I figured I'm just about to pack my Jeep full of gear, and it seemed like a great time to go over all this gear I have and kind of show you how I pack the TJ. I know that was a big thing for me when I first got into this, was figuring out what I needed and what I could fit and kind of trying to balance the two. Let's kind of take a look at what I have over here. So I'll start over here with this diesel heater I picked up and this Rotopacks. I bought these planning on using them if I needed them on this trip, but to be honest, I don't have the space for it. Because of that, I'm not taking the diesel heater and I'm not gonna bother taking the diesel jerry can, but I just wanna show you that. These are good heaters. I just got this and I tested it out and it works great. So I'll probably be using this in the future if I do any more winter camping. Next, we have this just normal duffel bag. I use this as my overflow bag. This has just doubles of a lot of other stuff, like I got extra sunscreen, extra bug spray, spare toilet paper, and then also I keep a bunch of snacks in here, and I keep this bag just behind the driver and passenger seats on top of everything else, so it's really accessible. It's good for the road trip because, like I said, snacks are in there. You can just reach back and grab them real quick without a bunch of stuff cluttering the front or it being buried below anything, and I'll kind of show you where it's at once I get the Jeep packed. Now let's take a look at some of these smaller things I have here. And this bag is my Jackery. I have the Jackery Explorer 240. It's not one of the biggest ones, it's actually one of the smaller ones, but it worked really well for me on that short trip I did in Michigan. And to be honest with you, I didn't want to buy a bigger one because I didn't think I'd have the space. But I picked up this nice little bag for it too, and it fits everything perfect in here. I've got extra chargers. Up here is the actual Jackery charger, and then here's the Jackery itself. You get 2 USB ports, 1 regular outlet, and then that's the input for the Jackery. And you get a nice display on it. Oh, and you get a regular cigarette lighter 12-volt plug-in there. It's got enough options. Like I said, it's not one of the big ones, but it's a more affordable one. And then moving on to this case over here, this houses my drone. I just picked this up specifically for this trip, and I wanted to get a lot of really cool aerial footage out there because if you've ever been to Colorado or Utah or seen videos, the landscape is incredible, and it's hard to capture that with a small stationary camera. But if you get a drone up in the air, you can get some amazing shots. I bought this one because it has cool features like follow me features, so I can put it up in the air, select the Jeep, and it'll track me and it'll fly hands-free and follow the Jeep as I drive. This is my fire can. I also just picked it up for this trip, just a propane fire pit, but it's a really small portable one and it looks nice and it works well. The reason I picked this up is because you never know out in Colorado or Utah or anywhere really where there are going to be fire bans. If there's fire bans, typically you're still allowed to use things like these propane pits because there's no embers and there's no risk of the fire spreading in a dry area. And I also added a 5-pound propane tank to my Jeep. I test ran this with the 5-pound propane tank. It lasted, I think, 3.5 hours on the 5-pound tank. But then I also got an adapter cord for that propane tank so I can then use the propane with my camp stove too, which will save me from having to buy a bunch of the little green disposable cans, and it's a little better on the environment to use a bigger can that you can refill like that. Here's a quick look at the inside. This thing's pretty cool, kind of looks like an ammo can. You open it up, the door easily slides off because you want this off when you're actually using the fire. The hose fits inside here, and then I also picked up a cheap little kind of gas gauge to stick on the tank. And then I bought these kind of blue fire rock beads to go down in there to help disperse the flame. And then I just stuck this washcloth in there to kind of help keep the rattle down. This is just a Coleman 2-burner camp stove. Nothing special about this. I think it was around 80 bucks on Amazon. Again, I stuck a rag in here because this helps keep the rattle down from these things. This thing worked great. It's got these that come out and they block the wind so it doesn't blow your flame out. Works great. It's probably a little bigger than I need in the future. Just again, because I have a TJ and I'm limited on space, I'll probably look at a single burner option. This works great though. Nothing against this. Highly recommend if you guys want to use it. So let's go ahead and take a look at the camping tables and chairs I have. These are convenient because they fold down really small, which you pay a little extra for when you get that kind of convenience. But the tables, I just picked these up at, I believe, Dick's Sporting Goods a year ago. They were GCI Outdoor, and they're fairly simple to set up. They kind of flip out like this. That locks into place, and then they just go together, and then you get a nice little table like that. And I take 2 of them, one for me, one for the fiance. And then obviously if you're gonna be camping and you're gonna want a table, you're also gonna need a chair. So I picked up these very nice front runner chairs that collapse down real small like this. And they're pretty quick and easy to set up. You just have one Velcro strap there, one back here, and then you can kind of just start to unfold it really quickly. That pops open. Easier to do when you're standing. Pull those up, set it down, and then you've got a really nice, cozy little chair, and it's actually pretty comfortable. And you got a little cup holder on this side, a little pouch, and then you got a little pouch on this side as well. And like I said, these are kind of heavy, so they're fairly sturdy, but they're pretty comfy. I can't remember the exact price I paid. I'll try and drop all that info in the video as I'm editing, but I do remember these were fairly expensive just for a couple chairs. But I think for the quality and the convenience of how small they fold down, I'll definitely get my money's worth out of these, and they should last me quite a few years. Then I have a little first aid kit. I just bought this on Amazon. This is a pretty nice little first aid kit. Has a lot in it. It's always good to carry this kind of stuff in your vehicle, especially if you're gonna be out in the middle of nowhere off-roading with people. You never know when an injury could occur, but it is very nicely organized and labeled, and you have a ton of stuff in here. Always good to have a first aid kit. And then this, I also haven't used yet. I picked up for this trip. I've seen good things about it. This is an InstaPrivy, and it's got a really cool setup. Like it's a nice bag, and there's straps that fold into the back here, so it can be worn like a backpack if you're, I don't know, doing hiking, I guess. But there's a lot of storage on this bag, so you can pop it open, unzip it. I don't want to pull it all out yet because I have it packed nicely and I got to get this stuff in my Jeep soon. But inside, it kind of has like a little privacy cover. It's not one that you set up or stake into the ground. You kind of wear it like a big hat and it falls around you. So it's a really kind of quick use thing. It's not super high luxury, but it'll give you privacy if you need it. This is kind of the main part of it. You get kind of like an actual toilet seat. So I'll show you how that sets up, but try and give you a peek into the bag here. You got extra storage. It kind of comes with a little trowel, and you got storage on this side, and you've got waste bags. The waste bags, I have some that came with it. They give you some that you can buy, and then I bought some, I think they're called duty bags. Those and these, I think the ones that came with it, they have like a powder inside that, without getting too graphic, you know, will congeal liquids and kind of get rid of odors or help mitigate odors. So you can then seal the bag, and they're double seal bags, which is nice, and then dispose of the waste if you're somewhere where you can't just use like a cat hole or something. And a lot of, I think, Utah, and I'm not sure about Colorado, really fragile ecosystem. So packing it out is, I think, usually more preferred. Take a quick look at this. This just folds out really fast. You flip the back around, and then you have a 4-post leg seat. I've seen some that just have like 3 posts, and that, I mean, it's kind of like a tripod. It gets really off balance pretty easy. This is pretty solid. Basically, you would take your waste bag and hook it in here, drape it, and put the seat down, and then you can use it. And you have convenience and privacy. I picked this up on Amazon too. And then I'm just taking a tarp. No particular reason. I just think if I'm out there, I might need a tarp. Something breaks under the Jeep and I need to lay in like a wet or muddy terrain. This would be a little more comfortable to work on the Jeep that way. And then this bag, I just recently bought on Amazon. I really like this. It's a little canvas style bag. Kind of looks a little military-esque. But it seems like a really quality bag, really high quality bag. And this is what I have made my recovery bag now, because I can fit these 2 big toolboxes inside the Jeep, And then I have a good gap still, but it's not big enough for a third box. So putting some of the stuff from in these boxes into the bag freed up more room in the boxes, and then I can fit the boxes in there plus this bag on the side. So it really worked out. In the recovery bag, I've got soft shackles, snatch block, I have a tree saver strap in here, I've got my winch cable, I've got this little boost pack, I think it's a NOCO brand, N-O-C-O, and basically you can jump start your own battery without someone else jumping you. So that would be really convenient just to have all the time, not just on a trip like this, so you don't have to rely on someone else. I do have jumper cables in my toolbox over here. And then this is for my air compressor to air up and air down. And then I have my nice recovery rope there. A way for me to fit toolboxes, but also get that extra bit of storage in there. And this bag will be easy, convenient to rip out and toss down. So, recovery bag. Okay, now we can get on to the good stuff. These 3 toolboxes are Rigid brand toolboxes that I picked up from Home Depot. I really like them. These in particular are a good medium size, and they have wheels on the rear, and then this arm that comes out so you can roll it around really easily. So that's kind of convenient. And what else is cool is they make all different styles and sizes of these boxes, and they all stack and lock onto each other. So if you take this one, set it on top, then you put this up and do the one in the rear too. These are now locked together, and then really I can wheel it like this, and it's just super convenient. I don't personally use this feature of them a lot, but I could see if you had like a Gladiator or a bigger Jeep or off-roading vehicle that's not a Jeep, the stacking feature would be really convenient and make things easier to tie down and keep together. I don't have the room in my Jeep to stack them, so it's kind of a feature I don't use, but it seems worth mentioning. So these 2 go in my Jeep. One is my toolbox, one is spare parts box. This box over here goes out above my spare tire and my rack, and this kind of has my camping stuff and camping food and supplies. I don't know, I don't have that much of the camping style things that I needed, so that's why I put it in the smaller box. And then also, most of the stuff that's in here I wouldn't consider highly valuable, so if it sits out there and gets stolen, it sucks, but I'm not losing a ton of money. If they stole like my toolbox or something, that's hundreds and hundreds of dollars. Like, just the impact I have in there is probably $250, $300. So you get a lot more bang for your buck if you steal that box. So I keep that locked inside the Jeep and safe. Another feature I mentioned about these, because like I said, this one goes outside on the rack. All of these boxes have a nice O-ring in the lid to make them watertight. Let me show you that. Right in here, this big orange ring all the way around is just a big O-ring. So like I said, it keeps it watertight. Since I've got this box open, we'll talk about it real quick. This is my toolbox. I've got gloves in here, a couple rags. I've got my impact, I've got a flashlight. I have a battery powered grinder with cutoff wheels and a flap disc in case I need to weld anything. I can kind of get down to bare metal. I've got a battery charger, spare batteries, small socket set, got some welding glasses. There's a trick you can do with stick welding and 2 car batteries. So I've got some just stick welding rods in here. Other than that, hammers, I have a hatchet in here, just a small tool bag that fits in here. And in the tool bag, I just have a bunch of random hand tools, pliers, channel locks, things like that. Normal tools you'd have in your home or shop, I just kind of threw in there. And I bought all duplicates so I don't have to unpack this every time. I went out, I think before my Michigan trip last year, I bought the bag, bought all these tools. I wanted extras. I didn't buy the most expensive ones because they're just going to sit in the Jeep and get beat up or could get stolen. But all of that junk is in here. This is kind of my spare parts box for kind of spare parts and kind of trail fix things I have in here. I have new radiator hoses. I didn't have those in here, but a friend of mine just recently went on a trip out west and he got a hole in his radiator hose. So it kind of made me think, hey, those are cheap. I'll toss them in here too. I have an extra set of ball joints. That's kind of a little much, but I ended up ordering an extra pair, so figured if I have them, why not take them with me? My jumper cables are in here. I've got some spare oil, funnels, ratchet straps, front runner stratchets. These things are really handy. Brake fluid. I've got a lot of little stuff like this kind of miracle wrap. This is like self-adhering tape. It kind of sticks to itself and makes kind of watertight seals, so it can be good for quick fixes. I've got some compression fittings in here, extra spark plugs, extra lug nuts, paracord. I've got extra serpentine belt. I've got a tire repair kit, like a plug kit, in case I get a hole in one of my tires. I've got extra extended brake lines for the front because you get all that articulation in the front. You can rip one of those brake lines or it could get caught on something. So I got extra ones of those. Spare radiator cap. I've got some regular JB Weld, and then I've got some plastic JB Weld in here. I grabbed these. These are just like flex tape patches. I don't know particularly what I would need those for, but I grabbed them just in case when I saw them one day. And then I've got some spare U-joints in here, and I think that's pretty much it for the spare parts. So, I don't know, it's not everything you might ever need, but I think I have a good amount of spare parts in here. It's hard to always be 100% prepared. I'm sure some of you have stuff that you think is very important that I don't have. Maybe I just haven't thought of it yet, or it hasn't broke on me and made me think, hey, I should carry an extra one of those. And then finally, for gear I have in here right now, this is, like I said, kind of my little camping supplies. And this is what I store outside of the Jeep. In here, I have sugar, a little creamer, some tent stakes, just some dishwashing stuff, hand sanitizer, salt and pepper. My coffee is in here, my percolator. I have a spare little propane can in here in case my 5-pound one runs out. Dish soap, a lantern, and just pots and pans in here. A small kind of compact set, and then some trash bags. Hot chocolate, and I've got 2 bags of the stuff you can buy at Dick's Sporting Goods where it just takes hot water and you dump it in there and it's a meal. Just 2 of those because I have the fridge in my Jeep that I plan on keeping like lunch meat and better food in. But those are kind of emergency backup. If you need them, all you need is hot water. Nothing too crazy in here, just some normal camping stuff. Hopefully some stuff that you'll get to see on the videos when I make them coming up. And here is my Alpicool K18 fridge that I keep in the Jeep. I actually have a video of me installing this. If you want to check it out, please go look at that video. But this will keep drinks cold, food cold. You can leave it on overnight with your vehicle shut off. It's got a low usage and it has a auto shut off if the battery power gets too low. So this thing is going to be super useful. And then I'm not going to go over too much of the interior of the Jeep right now, but I do have bullet point mounts up here. One's for my phone, one is going to be for my tablet, which will have my Onyx off-road navigation on it with my downloaded offline files, so I can follow the trails no problem, even when I don't have connection. Then I got my GMRS radio up here. This is another video I've made that you can check out. This is a Hook Road Molly panel, and I've just got all kinds of extra storage in here. I keep my handheld radio in here for when someone has to jump out of the Jeep. And then I have charging cables and stuff, extra splitters, so I can charge more things up in this bag. This little one was made for a flashlight, but right now I have bear spray in it because Colorado. And then this bag has my winch remote in it, and then I have a soft shackle in there for kind of quick access if I'm in a bad situation and, you know, not really in a stable area or flat surface. I don't have to try and get out to get that junk out of my toolboxes. I'll just have it right there overhead. The next one, I have just a couple small tools in it that fit my rooftop tent for the mounting hardware, just in case I need to tighten that on the road. I just have the wrench and stuff right there. And then back here is kind of a mini duffel bag. That one's cool. I didn't know what I was going to put in there at first, but I decided that's a good place to hold all my camera gear. So I can keep things like my mini little selfie stick tripod in there, extra batteries, the camera, the mic, little things like that. And then it's quickly within reach in case I need to film kind of quickly or don't feel like digging everything out of the back. And then back here, I have my tailgate table that I put on a few months ago. Again, mainly for this trip. It just pops down. This is also a Hook Road tailgate table. I have a video on this as well if you want to go check that out for the install. It came out pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it, to be honest with you. Up here is my propane tank. I really quick and dirty made a wood mount because I ordered a nice metal mount and it got delayed in the shipping and wasn't supposed to be here until a week after I left for this trip. So I really needed that propane tank. So I made that really quick to mount it. And then also I have on this LOD off-road bumper and tire carrier, I've got a 5-gallon fuel tank and then a 5-gallon water tank. I kind of forgot to mention this when I was showing you guys the fridge, but this is a Hook Road brand kind of extra storage platform here for the TJ. I never made a video on this. I put this in back when the channel was still really young and I wasn't sure what I was doing with it yet. Kind of wish I would have, because this thing is super useful. And other than just getting the extra layer of storage, a main reason I put this in here was so that when I have my toolboxes in here, if I get in a wreck or roll over off-roading, the toolboxes can't just fly up and fly around and hit me in the head or cause injuries. It keeps them kind of locked down. And then also, I did make a video on this kind of recently. I welded a crossbar from that side to this side up towards the end of the wheel wells, because that'll keep the toolboxes from sliding too far forward and hitting like the back of the seats. So that just also helps hold them in place. And then while we're talking gear, I guess it's also good to mention, I always keep a fire extinguisher in the Jeep. I've got this kind of quick disconnect one now. This uses nice metal hose clamps and aluminum and pins, and it just locks into place, and it's quick and easy to use. So up top here on the Jeep, I haven't had a chance to make a video on that, but that's my inspired Overland rooftop tent. I got it on sale for $1,000. They're normally around $1,500, but they're not very big luxury tents, but they're super convenient, easy to set up, and great for 1 to 2 small to medium-sized people like me. And I can get this tent up in like less than a minute and down in probably a minute. I don't know, it's really convenient. I really like it. I haven't had a chance to actually camp in it yet, but I'm gonna test it out on this trip, and then after that trip, I'll do a full in-depth review video on that you guys can check out. And then the rack it's mounted to, that's going to be another video I'm making. I haven't had time to edit it. I'll edit it after the trip. But I custom made this roof rack just for my tent. It was a bit of a pain, but came out really nice, and I'm pretty happy with it. Also just hit me, I have a little bit of gear inside on my kitchen table that I didn't want to leave in the dirty garage with spiders and bugs. And that's a couple camping pillows and a couple sleeping bags. I'm taking a couple just towels with me just in case one of us gets wet or we need it for some reason. I'm also bringing a sheet because Moab's going to be super hot. Even at night, it's probably going to be in the 70s. But I'll bring that out too, and I'll show you guys how I'm packing all that. But for right now, I'm going to go ahead and get all this stuff stuffed in there and let you see how I pack everything. So this is what it looks like, about 99% packed. I've got a big space here, but I have a large duffel bag that I'm gonna keep all of our clothes and like toiletries, like toothbrushes and stuff in, and that's gonna go here. Once I get the duffel bag up here, I can bring it, stretch it over it, hook here. Same thing with the fridge, and that'll keep everything in place that's up top. Here's my fire can. I always take a tire chalk with me because I'm a manual, and if my parking brake gives out or something, it's just nice to have this as a little extra reassurance, and then I don't have to run around looking for a big rock. Big toolbox, and then I've got the 2 chairs slid on top of it. This is my drone. This is the InstaPrivy. And then behind the drone, I've got my recovery bag, and I've got my 2 camp pillows stuffed in there. And then behind the InstaPrivy, you have the, you have 1 chair over here, and the other chair is on top of this toolbox. You've got the other toolbox back here. Then up top, obviously I have the fridge, and then I'll have a couple towels here that pop up, kind of what I'm gonna use as like a clothes changing room. My Coleman camp stove. This I like up here because it's kind of got things under it to absorb rattle, and then I'll have the duffel bag on top holding it down, so it should kind of minimize noise that way too. Over here is my med kit, or my first aid kit. The rest is going to be kind of hard to see because it's really tightly packed behind the seats. But on this side, I have a larger socket set down on the floorboard, and then I have the Jackery on top, and then the 2 sleeping bags, and then we've got a couple like back pillows and neck pillows because we're going to be driving 12 to 13 hours each day to get there. And these seats are uncomfortable, and they're on my list to replace, but I haven't got that far yet. The other side behind my seat, I have a block of wood with a trash bag wrapped around it, or it's inside of the trash bag, because this Jeep does leak a little water every now and then, especially because I drilled so many holes in it. So on this side I have the plastic cased socket set on the bottom, and on that side I have that piece of wood with the trash bag, and that keeps everything I want up off the floor to keep it from getting wet. And then on top of that, right now I just have the 2 camping tables, and then another 1 or 2 of the like back pillows, neck pillows stuffed right there. And then I have the red duffel bag right here in the middle, kind of between both seats, so you can easily reach back there and get the snacks out. And I think that's pretty much it. I can kind of take you around and do my best to show you, but it's all crammed in there really tight right now. Here is kind of the best view I can give you behind the driver's seat. Just everything stuffed in here real well. And then this bag's on top for easy snack reaching. And then I can close that. I think I still have enough leg room. I might have to force the seat back a little bit more, but we'll see. And then she's got enough leg room over there. And I don't think I showed you guys my little bags up front. I'll take you over there and show you those real quick. So then up here I have these 2 little storage bags. These are something I added very early on before I did a lot of modifications to this, just for a little extra storage. And honestly, in this one, I think all I have is kind of like some medicine, just ibuprofen, stuff like that, things for headaches. In this bag, I've got like some gum, mints, and then I also have a bunch of little packets of liquid IV, which is just something you can add into your water to help with hydration. And that's going to be pretty important in Moab. They were working wonders last time I went, so I really doubled down on them this time, because I didn't have them last time. Someone else gave them to me, and I loved them. This time, I've got a bunch of them. Let's see how much I can show you without it all caving down. Yeah, it's already fallen. But that's just the sleeping bags and back pillows, and then the Jackery's on the bottom sitting on top of the socket set, just to keep it dry. And then also you have your door panels. There's very little room in here, but on her side, we've got some bug spray, flashlight, trash bags for, you know, just when we're going on the road and we got stuff to toss, you can do a little trash bag. And then on my side, I keep a pair of gloves in there in case I have to work on it. Another flashlight for me. I have a Rambit knife over there, and no real reason. I guess a little bit of self-defense. It's quick and easy to grab if you need it, but also if you're stuck in there, you can cut a seatbelt with it. It's just, I have a few knives kind of around here. You never know when you're going to need to cut something open, defend yourself, or free yourself. So knives are always useful tools to have around, not necessarily weapons. All right, it's 6:30. I've got to get some stuff done, so I'm going to end this video here. Everything fits in here like a dream. I'm pretty impressed it all actually fit. But with that said, guys, I appreciate you watching. I hope this helped you kind of figure out some gear for your own trips. Please subscribe if you're not subscribed, and drop me some comments, and look forward to the videos coming. See ya.